use our teacher as your vessel, as he's going to be teaching us, Lord. We thank you and welcome your Holy Spirit throughout the entire lesson. In Jesus' name we have prayed.
Amen. Thank you so much, Patricia, for that prayer. And let us now yes. And now let us begin our lesson, having got that wonderful prayer. So okay, so today we are still looking at the Maji Maji rebellion, of course. Okay, a moment. Of course, this program is funded by Edify Uganda, and Edify Uganda believes that everyone has got, everyone deserves to learn and flourish. Okay, okay, people who are not actually asking questions, you mute yourselves. You only unmute when you have a question to ask. Okay. Okay. Yes, I've been saying that the program is funded by Edify Uganda, and Edify believes that we deserve to learn and flourish. Okay. Edify, of course, is not this. Edify works together with the government of Uganda, cannot be out of this. Then today we have our lesson of history with me, teacher Busuulwa Joseph, of course. And today we are going to look at the cause and effects of the Maji rebellion. Then to look at, we are going to look at the Maji Maji rebellion. Then after Maji Maji rebellion, we will also look at our topics to look at today. We have to look at the cause of the rebellion, and that is the Maji Maji. Then we have to look at the effects of the Maji Maji, and then we also look at some of the causes of some of the we are also going to look at some of the causes of the mountain. Okay, so I think the moment. Okay, so yes, I'm now back. Okay, so we are looking at okay. So we have is the cause of the Maji Maji rebellion, right? The cause of the Maji Maji rebellion. And as usual, I've been telling you that when looking at the cause, we look at events that took place, but in a chronological order. We are going to narrate a story. I've been telling you about this, but the story we are going to be narrating is actually a story broken down in points. Okay, we are going to narrate a story broken down in points, beginning with events that came first, events that came in last. Right now, I would like to get some contributions from you. We are looking at the cause of the Maji Maji rebellion. If you've got anything, you can just put up your hand and then share. If you've got anything, you just put up your hand and share with us. Okay. I've got Murunji, you can unmute yourself.
You call her to study. Yeah, teacher. The Maji Maji rebellion was involved. The Maji Maji rebellion involved several tribes, e.g., Ngindo.
Okay. Okay, thank you. It involved several tribes, the Ngindo and so many others. Thank you to yourself. Okay, Patricia cannot. Patricia cannot unmute. Then Musinguzi, unmute yourself.
The Maji Maji rebellion started in the area of Matambi Hills in 1905.
Which hills have you talked about? It started in 1905. Yes, that is right. That is the year I've heard, but I've not heard the hills
Matambi
about.
Hills. Matambi Hills.
Oh. All right. Okay. Then I have another person here. This is I have Murunji. Murunji, you can unmute yourself, and then
Maji Maji rebellion was an African rebellion against German rule in southern Tanganyika.
it was a rebellion over the people of for Gerard. Gerardi, are you there? Oh, again, you've muted yourself. Gerard. Okay.
The
Anthony?
Maji Maji
Okay,
rebellion.
Gerard has muted.
The Maji Maji rebellion was the largest uprising. It was the largest uprising rebellion against the Germans.
Okay, thank you. It was uprising in southern Tanganyika. Yes, that is right. Okay, thank you. Anthony, unmute. Anthony, unmute yourself. Anthony. Okay. Then I think I should Priscilla Collins or Angel.
Teacher, this is Collins.
Yes.
The rebellion started in the area of Matumbi Hills on 31st July 1905.
Okay, thank you. It started in Matumbi Hills, right?
Yes.
Is it true? Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Okay, then Fahia Jibril.
Mr. Busuulwa.
Yes, please. Yes. Fahia Jibril. Okay. I can see, I don't know, you are not saying anything, but you've unmuted.
Excuse me, teacher, I can't
Okay.
hear you.
Okay. Mary Murunji.
The Germans got reinforcement of the Zulus, Sudanese, and Swahili.
Yes, that is again another point to talk about. The Germans got reinforcement from the Zulus, the Sudanese, the Swahilis. Yes, thank you so much. Then Mariona. Is it? Yeah. Karen Mariona.
Yes, teacher.
Your hand is up.
Yes. In the Maji Maji rebellion, Africans used the guerrilla tactics of warfare and were armed with water, spears, and stones.
Yes, thank you so much. Africans had water, spears, and stones in the fight against the Germans, which was very unfortunate. Which was very unfortunate because the Germans had the gun known as the Maxim gun, which they used against these Africans. I don't know whether Fahia, you can now say something. I'm seeing your hand is up. Yes. Fahia. Okay, from the chat here, Emma says Maji Maji refers to magic water, which water was to provide the courage and protection against Germany blades. Yes, that one is also another point to talk about. Okay. There is someone who is using come on, but you have to rename yourself. You can, yes.
Sir, the German rounded up whoever was possessed to their rule, especially the ringleaders.
The Germans captured the ringleaders, and of course that was at the end, and finally the Africans were defeated. Okay, Anthony. Okay.
The rebellion quickly spread out in the cotton-producing areas around River Rufiji.
Okay. The rebellion quickly spread like a bushfire. That is true. Thank you so much. Okay. Now let us try to look at what I prepared for you. In the interest of time, we will not actually, but we've seen most contributed. So we are saying that the rebellion started and broke out in the area of Matumbi Hills in 1905. Yes, you talked about this one here, okay? It started in the area of Matumbi Hills, and that was 1905, okay? It involved several tribes living in those areas, such as the Ngindo, Mbunga, Ngoni, Zaramo, Pogoro, Matumbi, and so many others, okay? The rebellion later spread out to cotton-producing areas around the River Rufiji, Urunguru, Mahenge, Kilombero valleys, and so many others. Now, when you look at the way I've organized the course, we are beginning with events that came in first, events that came in last. And we are narrating a story, which story we have broken down into points. I've always told you that, okay? And the course is in most cases, not in most cases, by the way, the course is chronological. You note that one. You shouldn't begin with events that came in last, okay? So here we are looking at other points here. So the Ngindo, the Mbunga, Pogoro, Ngoni, Matumbi were brought together by a traditional religion known as the Karero cult. They had that cult, that belief. It is that belief that brought them together. They all believed in that, and then they were like, yes, with this we'll be successful against the Germans, okay? We have this other point here that Kinji Kitile Ngwale encouraged the unity of the people by getting water from River Rufiji and mixed it with sorghum millet, which was to be sprinkled on their bodies. Okay, there is this leader Kinji Kitile Ngwale. the man who was said to have been possessed by a spirit known as Hongo. So it is this man who actually mobilized the people in the fight against the Germans. He told them, when we smear this water, the German bullets will be sliding over us. You see? So he organized them and he took them to the war. And of course, at the end of that day, these people were defeated. Well, he deceived them that the magic will work. Okay? We are saying this was intended to protect Africans from German bullets. Their bodies would become bulletproof if they sprinkled their bodies. Now, I think you've seen what Kinjekitile Ngwale told the people. That the moment you sprinkle your bodies with this magic water, the German bullets, actually your bodies will become bulletproof. And many Africans died in this rebellion. First of all, they were so sure that the bullets will not actually get them, kill them. Okay? So we are saying that Prophet Kinjekitile used a movement or secret whispers to his fighters called Jujira. So there was a secret movement, and this movement was called Jujira. So it was doing its things underground. Are you getting it? Jujira movement. It was an underground movement that he used to mobilize the fighters. Okay. From the chat, if he was their leader, then why did he lie to them? Oh, now Linus says if he was their leader, why did he lie to them? He was also, I don't know whether I should say, he was also deceived by the spirit he was possessed. I mean, the spirit that possessed him. Okay. Remember, we said he was possessed by a spirit known as Hongo, and I think it is this spirit that actually that didn't actually get things right. And at the end of that day, these Germans killed the Tanganyikans, the people of Tanganyika, in numbers. You understand? Anyway, but I don't think it was his intention to have the Germans killed. I mean, the people of Tanganyika killed. It wasn't his intention. Okay. Yeah, the German administration headquarters and Swahili shops were attacked. Okay, meaning that the Africans targeted the plantations, the missions, the administration headquarters, and then the shops of the Swahilis. Those are the ones they targeted. Okay. Africans used the surprise attacks when they invaded German headquarters of Mahenge, Kilosa, Iringa, and Songea. So they were using surprise attacks, the guerrilla war tactics, the hit and run tactics. Are you getting it? They could attack the Germans unprepared, hit them, and then disappear. You understand? That was their method that they used against the Germans. Though the Germans also had theirs, which was again which was disastrous to the people of Tanzania. So we are saying the rebellion was sparked off when the Pogoro refused to pick cotton at Kilosa. Okay. So it all started when the and some of them even went and uprooted it. You see, on the 2nd August 1905, the coastal town of Samanga was burnt and people, especially government employees, were raided. Yes. Okay. Okay. So in August 1905, Africans attempted to capture the German machine gun at Mahenge, but of course they failed. They attempted, but they failed. Okay. The Germans got reinforcement from the Zulu, Sudanese, Swahili mercenaries, and that is why they were in position to defeat him. Okay. From the chat, someone is just greeting me, Albert. Okay, good morning. So we said that the Germans got reinforcement from the Zulu, the Sudanese, and the Swahilis. Yes, the Zulus were there to help these people. The Swahilis were there to help them. The Sudanese, And at the end of the day, Africans in Tanzania or in Tanganyika at the time were defeated by the Germans. The Germans sent reinforcement under von Wiesmann to silence the rebellion. Indeed, we talked about this man the other time, and we have his image in some of the slides that I sent you, von Wiesmann. So von Wiesmann came in, reinforced the German forces, and at the end of the day, they had to defeat the Africans. So we are saying that Africans then resorted to guerrilla warfare after the battle to avoid direct confrontation. Yes, they realized that they cannot actually directly confront the Germans. Yes, they had been deceived that when they sprinkle their bodies with the magic water, the bullets will be sliding over them. Are you getting it? Now they realized that it was a lie, and they resorted to what we call guerrilla warfare of hit and run. Okay. Rebellion was a result of it all started. Okay. Linus says that is the rebellion. Was it a result of the refusal of the Pogol to pick cotton? It started with. Okay, that was not the only cause. We looked at different causes, but it started with the refusal to pick cotton and then uprooting it. Okay, so that is when now the Germans came in, and of course they wanted to teach the Africans a lesson, and that is how the rebellion started. Okay, the Germans on the other side used the scorched earth policy by destroying everything of Africans, and it was a deadly policy. I'm telling you, Africans' houses could be burnt, their crops could be cut down, and everything could be destroyed. At the end of the day, these people became so weak because many of them were even dying. They were starving to death. Why? Because their food stores had been burnt, the crops had been cut down, and all that. Okay. Africans were armed with water spears and stones to confront the Germans. Can you imagine? Spears, stones, and then water. Anyway, so that is so we are saying, however, the magic water didn't work and many were killed and leaders executed. Yes, the magic water didn't work. Many of them were killed. Okay, so Africans were defeated by the Germans in 1907. So it lasted for only 2 years. It lasted for only 2 years, and then Africans were defeated by the Germans. Now we have gone to something else. We are now looking at the effects of the rebellion, and I'm waiting for your contributions before I proceed, before I look at mine. Yes, you can put up your hand and give us some of the effects of the rebellion before we look at something else. Josephine, unmute yourself.
The rebellion led to massive loss of lives and destruction of property.
Yes. Thank you so much, Josephine. Massive loss of lives, destruction of property. Yes. Jibril, unmute yourself. Yes, you can talk.
Rebellion led to poverty.
The rebellion led to poverty. I think that was Jovia. Okay, Jibril, I don't know what has happened to you. You unmute yourself, but you can't talk. Okay, I have Collins, Angel, one of you.
Teacher, this is teacher, you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Many people lost their lives.
Yes, people lost their lives. Thank you so much. That is, yes, another point to talk about. People lost their lives. Jovia. Jovia?
Yes, teacher.
Hey, Jovia. Okay, okay. Anthony.
It paved way for effective German rule in Tanganyika.
It paved way for effective German rule in Tanganyika, indeed, simply because the Germans defeated the Africans and they took over their power. Thank you. Alexa. Alexa, unmute.
I think the Africans lost faith and belief in their leader because he had lied to them.
Yes, they lost a trust in their leaders. That is true. Thank you so much, Alexa. Africans lost trust in their leaders. Murunji, unmute.
Yeah. Teacher, the rebellion led to the period of famine because people neglected farming.
Thank you so much. There was famine. Why people neglected the farming, and again, their crops were even burnt and cut down. Claire from the chat says it led to massive loss of lives. Yes, thank you. Then displacement of people, that is from Emma. Someone was asking why were the Germans depending on Africans? These were collaborators. They wanted money, they wanted riches, okay? They wanted wealth. Displacement, that is, then Daniel said it led to the displacement. Yes, that one is already seen. Maji Maji fighters were defeated. That is from Husna. Thank you. Then since the Germans used the scorched earth policy, the Africans were hit by famine. Yes, that is true. Thank you so much. Massive loss of lives. Okay, this was Linus. Okay. Then massive loss of lives from Korea. Linus. The Africans lost their culture. That is again another point to talk about. The rebellion was a source of inspiration for leaders like Oscar Kambona. That is true. Hatred between those who participated and those who did not. Yes, that one is again another point to talk about. That is from Emma. Okay, then Blessing also has given us a point. Thank you. Liam, unmute yourself.
Yes, teacher, the Africans realized that the Germans were more superior and so they accepted their rule.
You said the Africans realized the Germans were inferior. I've not got that again.
More superior.
More superior. Okay, yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, Africans realized that the Germans were superior. That is true. Okay. Promise.
Yes, teacher. The rebellion marks the establishment of German colonial rule in Tanganyika.
The establishment of German colonial rule in Tanganyika. Yes, it was the rebellion contributed to that. Thank you. Patricia. Patricia.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, your point. You can give us a point.
The Africans were encouraged.
Oh, sorry. Africans were encouraged. Patricia, you can unmute again. Oh, sorry. In fact, I have two Patricias. There is the Patricia that has unmuted here, and then another Patricia. Okay, Patricia, the one who is Patricia.
The rebellion led to the widespread of misery and suffering that was caused by the ruthless Germans.
Misery and suffering. Thank you so much. That is from one of the Patricias I have. Then I have another Patricia here. Patricia.
The Africans were encouraged to go to school in order to reduce ignorance.
Thank you so much. Schools were established in areas where they had not been put, and then there was education. Okay, thank you so much. Then I have a moment. Oh. Okay. Then I have Shama. Unmute yourself.
The rebellion caused population decrease since there were massive loss of lives.
The population as a result of massive loss of lives. Thank you so much. Now, in the interest of time, I think I should give you some of the effects I have here, and then we go and look at the Mau Mau briefly, because we also have to look at the Mau Mau briefly. Most of these points you've given, many Africans lost their lives, and here I have figures that about 75,000 to 125,000 Africans died during the rebellion. So I've got some figures there. The Africans were defeated by the Germans. Yes, you've given me that point. Indeed, Africans were defeated. Then the scorched earth policy destroyed everything and resulted into famine known as fuga fuga. You understand the famine, you've given it already. Africans stopped violence and tried other people. Okay. So we said that Africans stopped the violence and tried other peaceful means to regain independence. Yes, that is true. Then the Germans later learned a lesson and changed their methods of administration. Yes, the Germans equally stopped taking Africans for granted. Yes, Africans were encouraged to grow cash crops on their own. Not actually forcing them. Here, they were encouraged to grow cash crops on their own. They were not being forced to grow cash crops. Then corporal punishments were stopped, and then white settlers' demand for forced labor was also controlled. Okay, African education was introduced. You've just given me that point where it lacked, and also improved where it was in existence. So white settlers who mistreated Africans could also be punished. Yes, you can see that at least the rebellion brought some changes. Are you getting it? Some positive changes to the Africans. Africans lost trust and confidence in their traditional rulers. This is true, and someone mentioned it. Indeed, when you look at how King Kitile misled his people, there is no doubt that people lost trust in African leaders. Africans lost confidence and in traditional beliefs. Yes. Remember, they also believed in this traditional thing, traditional beliefs that you see when we sprinkle ourselves with this magic water, our bodies will become bulletproof. I'm telling you, these beliefs. Now Africans were like, I don't think there is anything good we can get from these traditional beliefs. That is why they abandoned the beliefs. Many Africans joined foreign religions such as Islam and Christianity. That is true. Remember, they had been tricked and by the magic water thing. So many of them were like, I think we should even convert to Christianity and then Islam. Then there was economic decline in southern Tanganyika. This is very true. Trade and agriculture were disrupted. African collaborators were greatly rewarded. This is true. Collaborators were given a lot of wealth. There was a terrible destruction of properties. Food stores and so many areas. Direct military rule, for example, Mahenge and Iringa. Yeah, Tanganyika was divided into districts. And we are saying that various areas were directly put under military rule. Okay. The rebellion became a source of inspiration later to later nationalists such as Julius Kambarage Nyerere. Yes, and this is the man we are talking about, Julius Kambarage Nyerere. So it is the rebellion that inspired them later to fight against the Germans. And no, actually not the Germans, because by then the British had taken over, because the Germans had lost Tanganyika after World War I. Now, we also have briefly to look at the Mau Mau rebellion. We have seen the effects. Now, briefly, we are going to look at the Mau Mau rebellion. This one, I think I can introduce it for you. You can see Mau Mau rebellion 1948 to 1960. Modern times. We can refer to that period as a modern one. If you compare it to the days of 1800. This is 1948, and you can see the guns they are using, okay? The tractors in the background. And you can see how this white man is directly pointing a gun to an African. So we are saying it was an African revolt against colonial rule in Kenya, okay? An African revolt against colonial rule in Kenya. Mau Mau rebellion. Are we together? And of course, it refers to Mzungu aende Ulaya, Afrika apate uhuru. That is in Swahili language, but it is translated to mean let the white man go back to Europe and then Africans regain their independence. Okay, so we are saying Mau Mau was an African rebellion, meaning Mzungu aende Ulaya, Afrika apate uhuru. Okay, which is interpreted as let the white man go back to Europe, that the Africans regain their independence. Okay, Mau Mau rebellion. Mau Mau. The M, the first M, Muzungu. Then A, Ayende. Then U, Ulaya. Then another M, Mwafrika. Then another A, Apate. Then another U, Uhuru. So Muzungu ayende Ulaya, Mwafrika apate uhuru. That is Mau Mau rebellion. Okay. Now, let us try to look at the causes of the Mau Mau rebellion. Okay. Some of the causes of the Mau Mau rebellion. I would like to hear from you. Okay, I have Chirabo Jovia.
The Kenyans wanted to regain their independence.
To regain their independence. Thank you so much for that word. Regain, which means they had already lost their independence. Thank you so much. Then Jamila.
They wanted to regain their land.
To regain their land which had been taken. Thank you so much. I have Patricia.
Why poor labor conditions that also forced the Mau Mau fighters to the Africans?
Okay. Poor labor conditions. Yes, these Africans were forced to work, and surely the conditions of work were not good. Melissa.
Africans were harshly treated by the colonialists, so they wanted to regain their freedom.
Yes, thank you so much. They were harshly treated by the colonialists. See, that is true. Liam?
Yes, teacher. Restrictions imposed on the growing of cash crops was under the Africans. For example, they were only allowed to grow cash crops.
Okay. Yeah, they were restricted. There were certain cash crops they were not supposed to grow. Because they were like, you see the quality, you may actually not come up with the quality that we need, and profitable cash crops could not be grown by Africans. That one forced them to fight. Murunji.
Yeah, they hated the European attitude towards African traditional beliefs and culture.
Thank you so much. The attitude of the Europeans towards African beliefs and culture. Yeah, they were, of course, they negatively, looked at this African religion and the cultures. Okay, Nicholas.
The introduction of the Chipande system, also restricted to the movement of Africans, annoyed them.
Yes,
and they
thank you
decided
so
to fight.
The Chipande system annoyed these Africans who decided to fight against those that had come up with such a policy of restricting them from moving from one place to the other. Chirabo Jovia?
They wanted to stop the misery and suffering of the...
Oh, you've muted yourself before completing your statement. Okay. Vicky?
Africans were forced to grow cotton when even people like peace because of,
Okay, thank you. Africans were forced to grow cotton, and this forced them to fight against him. the whites. I am Maggie and Martha. Hey, you've unmuted and you are not talking. Okay. Naziwa Jamila.
The Africans hated racial segregation in jobs.
Sorry, Africans
Hated racial segregation in jobs.
Okay, racial segregation. Yes, Africans hated the racial segregation. Thank you so much, Melissa.
Africans wanted to get back their land, which was grabbed by the white settlers.
Thank you so much. Africans wanted back their land, which had been grabbed by the settlers, for example, the Kenyan Highlands. Thank you so much, Melissa, for that. Kathy. Kathy?
Africans were denied a chance of attaining Western education.
Sorry, Kathy, you've been breaking?
Africans were denied a chance of attaining Western education.
Okay, thank you. Africans were denied a chance of getting Western education. Yes, and that is why later on these Africans had to fight. Murungi?
The Africans also tried to stop the settler influence on government decision and policy.
Sorry, come again. Africans?
The Africans also tried to stop the settler influence on government decisions and policies.
Okay, the settler influence. Okay, stopping some government decisions. For example, the decisions about whites settling in Kenya and how Africans' land was grabbed and all that. Okay, Julie? Julie? Hey, Julie. Okay, I think Julie cannot unmute. Okay, yes, Julie.
The cruel methods of collecting taxes angered the people.
Thank you so much. Cruel methods of collecting taxes. Yes, that one was also another problem. Annette?
Hey. Master, the restrictions imposed on cash crop growing also led to the rebellion.
Restrictions on cash crop growing. Yeah, that one's another point to talk about. Faith?
The return of ex-soldiers from World War II who had acquired new skills in fighting and were exposed to European weaknesses.
Okay, thank you so much. The return of World War II ex-servicemen. Yes, Bildad Kagia. Okay, then yes, these people influenced others, mobilized others in the fight against the whites. Okay, Faith. Faith, I think. Okay. All right, Annette.
Sir? The introduction of the Chipande policy, which denied the Africans freedom of movement, also led to a rebellion.
Yes, that is true. Thank you so much. Maggie and Martha?
So can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Africans were pushed into reserve camps where conditions were unfavorable. Like they were overcrowded, they lacked education services and even medical services. They didn't have medical centers.
Yes, definitely. Yes. Thank you so much. Africans were crowded in the reserves. And the lives in the reserves were not actually favorable. That is why these people decided to fight against the whites at the time. Fancy. Fancy, unmute yourself. All right. You people, in the interest of time, I think I should now look at. I think I should give you what I have here for you, because I can see we have only 6 minutes left, so we can look at this information here. Okay, a moment from the chat. Okay, from the chat. The resented imposition of high taxes, that is from Emma. Yes. Lina C, they wanted to stop slavery. Who wanted to stop slavery? Then Emma says Africans were poor, yet the whites, yes, and Asians were rich. Thank you so much, Emma. Then the Africans lost confidence. Okay, I think that was an effect. Linus, they wanted to promote their culture. That is Linus. Thank you. Emma, okay. All right. Let us try to look at this information also. The Kikuyu were mainly fighting for political independence. Yes, they wanted to regain their what? Their independence. Then Africans were resisting loss of their land. Yes, you've given this point. Okay, loss of their land. Africans were fighting because they were resisting the policy of being pushed into reserves or camps, where conditions were unfavorable. Okay, you've given that point also. Then Africans faced and experienced overstocking, overpopulation, congestion, etc. in the reserves. So they were fighting congestion in the reserves. Okay, they were fighting the congestion in the reserves. They had been, placed there, and the place was not enough for them, because most of the land had been taken by the Europeans. Are you getting it? And then very limited land was left for these Africans. Africans were fighting because they hated the policy of racial segregation. You've even contributed to this, okay? Racial segregation, meaning that they were being discriminated according to their skin color. Africans were absolutely poor. Someone has just given this point. They were poor, yet the Asians were richer than the Europeans. Then the Kikuyu further fought because they were tired of forced labor. Yes, you've even mentioned this, forced labor. Then the others joined simply because they were being given low wages. They are being given low wages, and some of them could not even be paid at all. That is why they decided to fight against the Europeans. Africans fought because they were restricted from growing cash crops. Yes, you've given this point, and we said they were refused from growing on the pretext that they would lower the quality. Then the reluctance of the British to effect constitutional reforms in Kenya. To effect constitutional reforms in Kenya resulted into the Mau Mau rebellion. Now we've got some extremists in Kenya African Union, okay, who were saying that the policy of peaceful means of achieving independence is not the right one. We should use at the time. Are you getting it? For them, they wanted violence. For them, they wanted to use force in the fight against a white man. So the
Hello, Teacher Joseph.
Hello, teacher.
Rachel, how are you?
I'm fine.
Hello.
Hi.
So the teacher has finished.
Rachel, are you fine?
I think his network is just
I'm fine.
Yes, teacher Joseph. Hello.
Yes, I'm back.
Patricia, how are you?
Are you back?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay.
Oh, I believe you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, we are winding up and okay, we are winding up and this is what we are looking at, okay? You people, we are winding up. You can listen to this and then we wind up, okay?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So what you do, you mute yourselves and then we look at this information and then we wind up. Okay, okay. Okay, so I've been saying that the return of World War II ex-servicemen, okay? And these people came back with ideas, new ideas of change. Which ideas of change they want, they employed in Kenya, or they mobilized others in the fight. For example, we have Waruhiwi, Tote, Bildadi, Kagia, Paul Way, and so many others. And here are some of these the images of these people, okay? On our left, we've got Bildad Kagia. Then on our right, we've got Chief Tote, nicknamed General China. Okay, nicknamed General China. And yes, these are the people that mobilized the Kenyans in the fight against the German, the whites. Okay, then Africans rebelled because of their belief in traditional religion and culture, which was being undermined by the British. Yes, the African culture was being undermined by the British, and at the end of the day, these people decided to fight against a group of whites that was actually violating their culture. Okay, Africans disliked the continued domination of the government by whites. They were being dominated by the whites, and they decided to fight against that. Then lack of African representation in the Legislative Council. Yeah, Africans were not fairly represented in the Legislative Council, which resulted into the Mau Mau rebellion. Africans rebelled because they resented the imposition of high taxes. Yes, we've mentioned that imposition of high taxes. Then massive arrests and detention. Okay, Africans resented that also. Then the whites didn't respect African chiefs and culture. That is why, a moment. Okay. Okay, so the death and reduction in the number of cattle greatly annoyed Africans, and they actually thought that the whites had something to do about the death and reduction in the number of their animals, but they didn't. They hated the introduction of Christianity, yes, and Christianity was against their African culture. Then they were encouraged by earlier resistances, such as the Nandi, the Maji Maji, and the Bushiri rebellions. Then African nationalism was again another factor that contributed to the outbreak of the Mau Mau rebellion. Then again, we have the influence of the Egyptian revolution of 1952. Egypt had a revolution in 1952 led by Gamal Abdel Nasser, Anwar Sadat, and Mohamed Najib. Now, these ones, after fighting against King Farouk, they again assisted other Africans who were fighting against him for any rule. In Egypt, they were not fighting against foreigners. They were fighting against King Farouk, an Egyptian, but a puppet of the British. Okay. Influence of strong nationalists, elites who mobilized, like Jomo Kenyatta. Africans rebelled because of their grievances like lack of jobs. Idle land, the Europeans had grabbed, the British had grabbed their land, but the land was idle, and then Africans were pushed in reserves, you understand? So that contributed to the outbreak of the Mau Mau rebellion. So we've come to the end of lesson 6, and of course we always do our assignments, and this is our assignment, which goes, what were the effects of the Maji Maji rebellion? Okay, all that information. Yeah, so we've come to the end of this lesson, and it has been made possible with a funding from Edify Uganda, organized by CS. Okay, So we've come to the end of this lesson. Thank you for listening to me. Unless someone has something to say, but we are already late. Okay, Mr. Dumba. So I think
I have no communication, sir.
Okay, so I think we will be meeting again in next time. Okay. Prepare for the coming exams. Okay.
Mr. Busuulwa.
Yes, please.
Let us not forget to remind the learners to subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yes, please.
Where we are going to be putting more lessons. This is the last week for the lessons. Next week is exams. We should not forget to be reminding learners about that. The lessons are ending this week. Next week we are having exams, and the program is going to be ending this month. So we should be reminding them so that they don't see things ending abruptly. Learners, we're having the I want to ask you to this week to be attentive, and as the teachers are going to be wrapping up with the lessons, and next week we are going to be having the exams. So the exams are going to be summarizing the things that you have been learning ever since we started. So you'll be able to do those exams. They'll be posted on the Google Classroom. They're also a way of helping you to revise and get you to summarize everything. Yeah. So after this month, next month, this program is going to be with the normal lessons will not be on, but we shall be having some recorded lessons once in a while, which we shall be sharing with you. We also have some schools which are going to be starting e-learning programs. So we shall be sharing with you some of those schools. If you want to continue, you can be able to enroll with those schools for November and December. Yeah, so all of you, if you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, let me just show you here how you can do it. Yeah, so we have a YouTube channel where we have been sharing all the lessons. Let me share the YouTube channel here. Yeah, so you will go to your phone and then you go to an app called YouTube. We have this channel here. You search for Christian School Owners Association. So right now, what you see there are videos of the lessons which we have been streaming, but we are going to be putting there some other lessons as well for you to, which can help you to revise. So when you come here, now for me, I'm unsubscribed, subscribed, but you'll see this red button which has the word subscribe. Subscribe. So you subscribe to that channel so that you get to get the other lessons which you are going to be posting there, even when the Zoom lessons are done. Yes, so I'm sharing the link to that channel. If you are on Zoom right now, you can just click on that link and you subscribe right now. Yeah, so you can just click on that link. That is the link to the YouTube channel. Yeah, please, you do that now, immediately, and let us continue attending the rest of the lessons for this week. Thank you very much. I don't know if there's any question. Kasita Was, you have a question? Bernard Prince?
I have a question.
Yes, you go.
These exams are going to be online, right?
Did you do exams in the pilot phase? The exams are going to be the way we are giving assignments.
No,
they are going to be
I just started to do this. I just started to do it today.
Have you joined the Google Classroom?
I was wondering if I could get some notes, if possible.
The notes are on Google Classroom. Have you joined the Google Classroom?
No, I'll join it. So you've been only having history paper
Not
one.
everything is there in the Google Classroom, please. You just go to the Google Classroom. You install the app called Google Classroom.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we
you've
have
been
only been
having
having
history paper one.
only one. Yes,
Okay,
only one paper you've been having. Have you subscribed to the channel?
I'm going to download the app. I don't have the app.
Okay, it's fine. Bernard Prince?
Sir, may you repeat the name of the YouTube channel we're supposed to subscribe to?
It is called Christian School Owners Association. I've also posted the link in the WhatsApp group, or in the chat, but it is called Christian School Owners Association. This is how it looks like. Is that okay? Okay, finally, let me get one final question. Emma?
Excuse me, Master.
Yes?
Hello?
Yes.
Could you assist me with the timetable if it is out?
For exams?
Yes, sir.
We are going to follow the same schedule for the day when you have exam, just like the one for lessons. So during this time next week, it will be an exam for history.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, but the DOS is also going to share the timetable, similar, but it's going to be in the same timing. Okay, thank you very much. Ricky, finally, Rick?
Maybe Rogers, before we get off it. I had a student asking for other papers. As you've told them that they should follow the link, this YouTube channel, we are also going to be having the materials for the other papers that we've not been having here. For example, South Africa, I'll be having materials, I'll be making materials, and then we'll be posting them on the YouTube channel. So they should be finding them there.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Over to you, Mr. Dumba. You can close the meeting.
I don't have any communication. You said it all.
We can
end the lesson now. Thank you.
Okay.